Hi everyone, in this video we'll look into paragraphs and manuscript science, right? So you may come across this question as paragraphs. It can be in question section A at yeah, at some point you may come across it in section B. So this question does not necessarily have some of like guidelines or instructions that you tend to use to answer the question, unlike your business letters, your circular letters, where you need to follow some certain guidelines from the textbook in order for you to answer that question. But in this case, for paragraphs, it's something different, right? So I think personally, I think like it helps, or probably test how far do you know your kind of like your manuscript science, right? So yeah, we'll just dive into this question. It's question 4 in, I think it is IP. I think it's the one for 2020. I think like 2020 around November there. I think yeah, November. It's written September. I think because it was written like COVID. But anyway, I think it's in November. Question paper 2020. I'll just leave the links in the description below, right? Along with I have a document here which contains the manuscript science, right? I think even the textbook, depending on what textbook you use, it has some manuscript science within that textbook that you'll be able you actually have to know them, as I've said in the previous video, how important they are. It's basically the tool that you tend to use to actually answer the question. The question, may I put it in that way. If you don't know manuscript science, you won't be able to answer this, or rather IP input in that case. So you definitely, it's a must, as I've said. You need to know all of these manuscript science, because you never know which manuscript science you come across in the question paper. So the thing is, so you just need to know all of them. Know what do they mean, how do you actually use them. That's very important. So yeah, this is what this kind of video will be for. Just answer this question 4 from 2020, right? And yeah, so let's start by doing it. So, but as I always say, before you attempt to answer any question, it's very important to start by proofreading the question rather in this case, before you start attempting to answer it, right? So just proofread, go through the question paper, look at the instructions, what you ought to do before you attempt to answer. The reason why I say that is because again, uh, you don't want to attempt to answer this question paper, right, and make some mistakes that will cost you time, because just going through it and when just typing it, and then after some time realize that no, you should have done that instead of doing this, right, and then that will cost you time. So now you have to go back, delete and type again. You don't want to do that. So just proofread in terms of, yeah, how you would, attempt to answer this question. So in this case, as you can see, just proofreading, you would see that this here, this here, this here has to go on top, right? So it has to come here, right? We need to move it here in this case. So yeah, yeah, these are the things we want to look for, right? Some of the manuscript signs, the round zone manuscript sign, but we'll go through this. So yeah, let's start by now that you've gone through the question paper, you can then go forth and open your Microsoft Word program, and then let's start off with following these instructions in this box here. So open Word here. I've already done that, and then let's start off with our margins. Our margins, it's if you don't understand how to use these measurements, I suggest you go look for a video. Just also leave the link in the description below about question 1, right? You would have a better understanding how do you actually use these, right? Or rather, understanding how do you actually use follow these instructions right here. So you can just go to that video and think it to really help you, right? So let's start off with the margins here. So open the document here. There are many ways to go to your margins, right? So let me see something first. Okay, let me just start by enabling my, I think the ruler is not enabled, and I think I'll use it. right? As you can see, this programmer uses centimeters in this case, so it doesn't matter whether I insert centimeters, insert inches to convert them into centimeters, right? Yeah, I think we're fine now. We can go forth, go to layout, go to page setup, open this option right here, and then we have your margins. And for me currently the margins for left is 2,54 centimeter, for right 2,54 centimeter, which is exactly what the question paper suggests us to insert, right? So yeah, I'll just leave it as it is, right? So yeah, just choose one here. You can choose 2,54 or choose 1 inch, right? Don't type them both, otherwise it will result in an error. Alright, and then the font should be Korean 12pt. Let's insert it. Go to home, look for the font. You can just even type it here. See Korean, here's it, press enter, and then increase the font size to 12pt. Yeah, that's okay. And then what else? And then the paper should be in A4. Let's do that also. Go to layout, look for orientation. Here's it. It should be portrait, and it's in A4. You can just go for to the side, and you can see it should be in A4 here. Alright, that is done. Alignment should be left aligned. Let's go back and make sure it's left aligned before we start typing. So you go back to your home. There is your alignment right here, right? So this is my left alignment, so I'll leave it as it is for my left alignment. What else? Line spacing single, expect where indicated otherwise, right? So yeah, we'll deal with that. Now these go for, they now say key in your examination number left, right? So you key in the examination number left. So how do we key in? Go to insert, look for a header, and then I suggest you choosing this one. It can be easily kind of like modified. So in this case, we are told to put our examination number left, but you would realize that at some point the font may change, so make sure you select the correct font here before you type. So let's put examination number. So they usually, your examination number usually is your ID number, so I'm just going to type anything here, assuming that is my ID number, and then here usually it's the question number. So this is question, I think it's question 4 if I'm not mistaken. I think so. Yeah, question 4. So examination number left, it's typed on the left, and the question number and the station number on the right. Now when it comes to station number, right, if you are that's actually, if the station number, right, which is something that is usually should be on your whatever computer that you use, but I think this is mainly used like during exam, right? So what you do, you just after typing your question number, just add space there and then type whatever station number it is, right? Type it there. That is if you're supposed to do that, right? But it depends, right? Alright, but in this case, let's just edit anyway. So I'm just gonna do that. Take note, yeah. Take note that this is the station number, right? If the instruction in the question paper, right, suggests that, or rather, instructs you to actually insert it, then yeah, you should go forth and do that. And then after that, how do I close this? I can just, it's up to me. I can come to design here and just say close header, or I can just go back here, double click at the top, and just click down here, and then that will definitely close, right? I want to make sure the font is correct. You see, we need to make sure again. So just press Ctrl plus A, which allows me to select everything. It's a shortcut actually. Then I can actually select the correct font, right? And then now, let me just close this here again. Now we have inserted our examination number and question number along with the station number as per the instruction, right? What's the next thing we're supposed to do? Let me check. So the next thing you're supposed to do is to take all proofreading signs into consideration, save the document as Q4. Yeah, but for now I won't save it. But yeah, if you're someone that probably you easily forget, to save, so you probably suggest you can just save it here without typing anything. Actually, I think it's a good thing, because let's say something happens, right, while you're typing, you can easily retrieve it rather than if you're just typing without saving it, right? Chances are probably might not retrieve it, right? But even though there's a possibility that you can. Anyway, it doesn't matter for now, but yeah, it doesn't matter whatever. You can choose to save it right now, but take note, if you choose to save it right now, you want to make sure that once you're done, you save it again, right? So that whatever work you have done actually gets saved, right? So let me just save it. Just say save it for now, and then I'm gonna say browse. Take note. So in this case, remember, assuming that this is an examination, you need to kind of like have a folder, right? So if you don't have a folder, you want to create a folder on the desktop. I think usually the folder usually compromises with your examination number, right, and then your full name, right, and your full name, right. This is what should like, and then select that folder after it's been created, select it, and then you'll be asked to enter a file name according to the question paper. I think the file name is supposed to be something like Q4, right? So make sure you follow that instruction correctly, and then select the folder, and then say save. The file is being saved. As you can see, the name has changed here, which means the file is being saved is created. The file has been created called Q4, right? So once I'm done typing this question, I need to save it again by pressing Ctrl S, and then it will be updated, right? Then I can go forth and print it. All right. So yeah, let's come to answering the question. So first of all, so we are told we'll deal with this later also, right? As you can see, to find we'll deal with this. I think it's best to apply that once we're done typing, right? So we are told that I think yeah, probably I think it's fine if we do this together, right? It's not the question itself is not that. I think yeah we can actually do it. So yeah, it's fine. Let's just do it. So yeah, so I'm gonna open the document and I'm gonna type. Take note. Okay, before we go anywhere, let's start here. So as you can see, this list area depth total passes like 200. So and then we have this box here along with this instruction. So as you can see, this is underlined, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to underline it, right? So this suggests that it's underlined so that you can apply. You apply this instruction, which is this box here. This box, as you can see here, you apply this instruction to this text that has been underlined here, right? So this instruction here that you see here, you apply it to this text that has been underlined. If you were supposed to underline, they would actually have it as a manuscript sign for underlining, right? So we need to type this right in the Word document, and SP is for spaced caps. So you need to type this in spaced caps. It should be bold and italics. So let's go forth and actually type it right. And so open a Word here. Take note the font. Yeah, the font is correct. So now so this should be spaced caps, right? So I'm gonna start with LIS. Take note the reason I'm inserting like space between is because the instruction says SP caps, which means not only should it be caps, but the caps should be spaced in between them. So listeria or whatever, listeria or whatever, and then it says okay, let me just do this. We'll fix it anyway. So death, come on, death toll passes 200. I think something. Let me check again. Listeria death toll passes 200. So yeah, then I was gonna, before I do that, let me just make sure it's spaced caps. Then now I'm going to select this, right, and then the instruction says it should be bold. So how do you make bold? I select the text. Now yeah, I can use the mouse to actually select the text, right, and say Control plus B, it makes it bold, or I can just come here and just say make it bold, it should be italics. We come in and say italics, or you can press Control I for italics, right? So spaced caps, as you can see, it should be bold and italics. So you're not told about the font, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. Just make sure again that everything is correct in terms of the spellings, as what is being displayed on the question paper, right? Let me check again. Yeah, I think it's fine for now. Then now if I press enter, it will take me to another line, but take note that the cursor itself, it's on here, right? But it still has the bold and italics applied to it. So before you continue to type, you want to make sure that, because bold italics is supposed to be applied here only, not in the text that comes after it. So you want to disable it right there before you go forth and type and some text that has to come after it, right? As you can see, that is to come after it. So Listeria depth top passes 200, spaced caps, bold and italics. We've already done that. So yeah, the reason why I'm typing it at the top is because the instruction says you need to move it there, right? So yeah, it needs to come here, right? Again, that's the importance of proofreading first before you attempt to answer the question. And then now coming here, now some people confuse this to a forward slash. This is actually a manuscript sign rather for the, right? But at some point it might be, so you don't want to confuse it with a forward slash. And how do you know whether it's a the or forward slash? In this case, it makes sense. It doesn't make any sense to start a sentence with the forward slash. It has to be the. But there are instances where it's not a forward slash. It's not a the, but a forward slash. But in English, you should actually, while you read, it should actually make sense, right? So you need to, while you read, to see if that whatever that forward slash should be forward slash or a like the, right, or there, right? But yeah, it should make sense when you read it in English. And yeah, I don't know if I make sense. But so the death toll, the death toll from there, you see, so it makes sense here. It's not a forward slash. It's a D or there, right? So yeah, let's do that. So let's type it. So here after that, now before again I go, let me just check again. So this what you see here, this is what we call like a line. In this case, it means that we need to press enter 2 times, right? So after typing whatever the heading, whatever that is, we need to press enter 2 times. So you see that there is a horizontal line and vertical line. So if you count those kind of like horizontal lines, you see that there are 2 of them. So which means you press enter 2 times, right? So I think that's the simplest way for you to kind of like understand them. So how do we actually even do that? So from here, as you can see, that's my cursor here after typing. So if I press enter, and for you, what would definitely help you is to use this paragraph format here. So I'm just going to open it so it will kind of like help you, right? So don't get confused with this. It won't get printed. You can just turn it off. It just just shows you, just literally sounds of your document, right? So I can turn it off and I can turn it on. So now see my lines right in the document. So if I press enter, like 1 and then 2, so that's that 2-line spacing, if I put it in that way. All right. So yeah, I was here, right? Put my after typing the heading, so I press 1 and then 2, and then that's where I'll start typing. So that it doesn't necessarily mean that there needs to be. Let me just turn this off. There needs to be like how do I put this? There needs to be like 2 lines between. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean between that and the text that you type after that there needs to be 2 lines. It just means that you press enter 2 times, right? Yeah. So I'm just gonna press backspace from the keyboard, from there, press space, come back and then take my cursor there. So 1, 2, And for you to see whether it's two line spacing, there needs to be like a blank like line. In this case, if I just turn on, you can see not necessarily a blank line, but it should be at least like one line between, if that's a two line spacing. Alright, so turn it off. I don't know if it makes sense. So anyway, yeah, so from here we press enter, 1 and then 2, then you start typing. Then let's go back to the question paper rather. So let's do this. So it says okay, you see now it's taking that. Let's disable these two because you're not supposed to apply it here. So I want to also make sure that the font you're using, right, it's correct. So let me just turn off this that tool from there. Well, there's an apostrophe there. Just use this one. Yeah, anyway, it doesn't matter anyway. It's worst. Right. Okay, let me just not say anything. Now, take note. I don't want to be fast. I want to do it as slow as I can. Outbreak. Now, outbreak. Let me just type this before actually. Let me just say essay. I'll just explain. Now, yeah, let's go back here to the question paper. So you see, the death toll from the words West Listeria outbreak. Now, take note, outbreak is underlined. In essay is also underlined. Has reason to. Now, then you have these two manuscript signs, in this case instruction, right? So how do you apply this? Now, this SP will apply to the first word that is underlined, and this in full will be applied to the second word that is underlined. So in this case, we need to correct that outbreak here. So how do you correct? To correct SP is for what? It's for spelling. So in this case, what do they mean by that? We need to just split this like this, right? For outbreak. Oh no. Actually, we don't. We need to. So if you go back to the question paper, it's actually outbreak, break like K-R-A-K-E, which is like incorrect. So we need to correct it to something like outbreak, like a break for B-E-A-K. So we correct that. And then for essay, it should be like in full. So instead of typing essay, you want to type South Africa, right? Yeah, I think we have dealt with that. What again? Let me just check. And then now look at this. So more than 200. Let's just finish it. More than 200. And I think there's a full stop if I'm not mistaken. Let's check. Yeah, there's a full stop. And then now you have this manuscript sign, right? This one here. Now this one is for what? A new paragraph, right? New paragraph. So which means we need to like start a new paragraph from here. And take note, one mistake that people do is that they actually type the instruction. So this is an instruction. It doesn't mean like you should type it, right? You should not type it. It's an instruction, right? So once after 200 here, after the full stop, we need to start this sentence on a new paragraph, right? Let's do that. And take note, there is Y. So you see now this / here, in this case it should be there, right? While the number of cases, right, it doesn't make sense for it to be kind of like / it doesn't make sense in English input in that case. So let's do that. So let me just do this. Yeah, so we need to start this on a new paragraph. So I'm just going to press enter to take us to a new paragraph. In this case, we're not told in terms of the line spacing, right? So I'm just going to leave it as it is for now. Yeah, so yeah, let's start this. So while or the number of cases. Is there any instruction there? No, I don't think there's any instruction. Is there any? Okay, there's no instruction for that. Each week is decreased, and then there's a comma there. The rest I can and of 1033. So let me just follow correctly. Okay, let me just correct this here. A total of 1000. Okay, I think there was a comma there. 1033. Oh, come on. This keyboard. 1033. Okay. I contracted. Is there any okay, in this line there's no, so I'm just going to change it because I don't think there is any instruction. Let's type it as it is. Now, after a disease caused by, now if you go back to the instruction, you see that a disease caused by, now there's an instruction. Take note, now we're told to have like 2 line spacing. So candidate, insert any bullets and indent. So now we're told any bullets, and we need to also what indent. So let's deal with that. So by, after by, then yeah, if I press enter now again, 1 2. Why am I doing that? Because there's actually an instruction that say we need to have like 2 line spacing, like as you can see right here. Unlike here where we were told to start on a new paragraph. Now we are explicitly told that we need to have like 2 line spacing, so yeah, we do have to insert it. And then going back to that, we need to insert bullets. How do you insert bullets? Like simplest way, just come up here and bullets. Now any bullets of our choice, right? So I'll just use these random ones here and make sure that it's indented. You can actually do it by, to indent here. That's the option you can use to indent here. Right, so but anyway, I'm just going to take it here, and then I'm going to type let me see. So yeah, I'm just going to follow. I think from so, if I'm mistaken, and then I think there's a comma, and then as you can see, if I go back there, you see that there's an instruction again here. Now this instruction is for what? A new line. So this needs to be typed on a new line. You don't type the instruction, you just follow it. Alright, so here we need to press enter to go to the new another line, and then put it into that case. So we have water, and then we press enter again. Oh, I forgot a comma here. Let me just do this. Don't worry with these, like these blue, like it won't get these underlines that are in blue, they won't get printed, right? Just what to call this, just a kind of like a feature from the Manuscript word that does this, but anyway, it's not important for now. And then after water we have vegetation, and then I think there's and then before we go to but if you before I actually continue this, if you go back again, the power of proofreading, we are told to replace this end with and, so that you know that when you come across this, you replace it with and, right? So yeah, that's the importance of kind of proofreading. Although we can even do this if you're someone who doesn't forget, you can do this at the end once you're done typing. There's a feature that easily can actually help you with actually doing that. So in this case, visitation and press enter again, and then I think it's animal feces. Alright. And then now from here we are told again another 2 line spacing, right? So one. Now note that if I press enter, this anyway, I'm gonna type it as it is because that's how it's typed in the question paper, right? So I'm gonna leave it as it is, right? If it was incorrect, then there will be SP that suggests that I need to correct, but I'll just type it as it is for now. So now if I press enter here, I'm trying to go to another line, but it gives me a bullet. So the simplest way to do it is press backspace from the keyboard, that to actually delete it again, and then now you have your 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 whatever line or whatever. So in this case, if I press enter, as you can see, it gives you that, and that's what you're not looking for that. So you just press backspace probably twice, and then again. Now, because the reason why I'm saying again is because now there is a 2 line spacing right there, right? So one, let me just check, 1 2, yeah, 1 2. So yeah, and then say which can contaminate fresh food, comma. Another thing which I find it quite, I think probably I've said it in the previous video, quite interesting about this, especially if you're doing like your question one, is that as you're typing, right, you don't just type for the sake of typing, right? To type, because there are a lot of things that you can learn here, right? We're just reading this stuff here, right? I'm someone who probably types while I type, but at the same time I'm reading, so or just looking whatever that I'm looking at and then typing it. I'm also reading something which gives an opportunity to learn something from whatever that I'm actually reading. Right, I should try it probably. Yeah, it might help at some point. And then after that, 1 2 again, and then add a line spacing press enter 2 times because of that. Let me check the manuscript sign. Yeah, 1 2. Now before we type health officials, we are told that we need to underline these health officials, right? So yeah, we need to underline. So let's type it, and then we'll do the underline. We'll underline it rather. So health officials. Now still. I can't see properly. Now they are traced. Now that is also a forward, not actually the sort of the forward slash. The outbreak, right? To an okay, let me check again. Let's check. Let me check. So at announcement that they had traced the outbreak to an enterprise food plant in Bulukwane. Um, let's try to follow exactly as it's typed there. Okay, font, price. Yeah, I think it's best to type it exactly as it is. But before I continue, let me just so health officials we're supposed to underline. So how do you underline it? Select the text, go up here. You can press Ctrl U to underline it, right? Or just come up here and just select underline. Again, if it was a double underline, then you'd come here and just select it double underline. But in this case, it's just both say single underline. So I'm just gonna underline it, right? And then announce in March that they had traced the outbreak of an enterprise food plant. Now, again, there's another um, instruction there, and then let me just go back to the question paper here. As you can see, the question there's an instruction here that says remember again, this it needs to be replaced with and. So while you're typing, we take that into consideration and put an and, and then immediately, right? And then after immediately, as you can see, there's a line drawn there from immediately to ordered. So this suggests it's called run zone. It suggests that you don't split these two into different kind of like sentences, something like that. It should be combined to be like one line. So this means that this is a continuation, right? You don't have to type this on a different line. It's a continuation. It's still one and the same what sentence. That's what basically what run zone means. So run zone, it is actually this manuscript sign here, right? And then while you're still there, then we have this manuscript sign again. This one manuscript sign is called insert. And what are you inserting here? You are given this word to insert that goes along with this manuscript sign here. So you are told that this sign you need to insert. What are you inserting? You're inserting this word rather, nationwide. So ordered a nationwide of the affected products. Now these end services, as you can see, it's kind of like a strike through, right? These two words. So you apply this del here, right? This del here to this. So it means you need to delete end in services. See how this actually works. So the first underlined within that sentence, whatever it can be underlined or whatever word, there, and they would have you would have the instructions here, and then you have your text here most of the time. So most of the time, the first instruction applies to the first word that is underlined or whatever that may have done in the word, and then the second instruction applies to whatever second word in that particular sentence, where you need to whatever is underlined or whatever this case is struck through, where you have to apply that instruction. So it shouldn't be confusing, right? So yeah, let's go back to the document. Alright, so immediately, and as I said, it's just a continuation, right? So we continue to type here. So it says immediately, where was I ordered? I think it was ordered I think like it was nationwide, something like that. Nationwide recall of the affected, right? Affected products. Now I'm just gonna leave it here. So now health officials announced in March that they had traced the outbreak for an enterprise food in Polokwane and immediately ordered a nationwide recall of the affected products. And again, if you go back to the question paper, yeah, I think it's fine. No, yeah, it's fine. Ordered. Now this, we have replaced this with what? Nationwide. And replace this forward slash with the affected products, and then we have deleted end services because there's a do manuscript sign we need to apply to this one here. And then after that, you need to have like two line spacing, 1 and 2, and then what follows after that is the infection. Now this is TRS for transpose, right? So which means here what will come first, it is this word here, mainly, followed by affects, and then followed by children. So the infection, let's go further and type that. So the infection, right? Something like this, the infection. So the first word we need to type is mainly, right? Mainly, the infection, mainly. Number 2, it affects the word, and the third word is children, right? That's basically what transpose is for, right? You just follow it, you saw that option, that manuscript sign, then you follow the number first. So whatever the word that has number 1, it means that word comes first. The word that is 2 on top, which means that that's the second one you should type, the word, so forth and so forth, right? Children, the infection mainly affects children, right? And now replace that end with an actual end, has an incubation, I think, if I'm mistaken. Let me check. And yeah, an incubation period of up to 70. Yeah, we'll get into that. What was it again? Thing like incubation and incubation. I think it was period of up to up to 70. Now that 70, I think it was underlined. Let's go back again and check. So as you can see, the word 70 days is actually, so it should be in figures. So you can see this instruction applies to this first in that particular line, right? This instruction applies to this underlined word in that particular line, and then you have this NP which is applied to this new paragraph in that particular line. So it works like P line, right? So yeah. So yeah, let's do that. So our 7 should be in figures instead of in words. So let's go forth and correct that. So instead of saying 70, let's 70 like this, because as you can see, it should be in figures. Right, 70 days, making, I think, making it difficult to track. And then after that, we're told to have a new paragraph. So I'm just going to press enter once for a new paragraph, and then it says I think contamination for a second. Contamination in now there's another manuscript sign there for stat, right? Let me just go back here, open this document. I'm not sure if I have it here, which this one might be a little bit confusing, right? It is actually confusing, that manuscript sign for stat there. It really might be confusing. Let me see if I do have it here. I don't think it's here. No, it is not. And I like this doing because it actually explains, how the meaning and how to actually use it, right? See, all these manuscript signs are right. I'm looking for that one instead. But I know for a fact it might not be here, but I know for a fact that in their textbook it is actually there, and I think it's actually well explained. Actually, I think here's it. So the following list of abbreviations like used in, so being told here. So now this happens in two ways, right? It might be underlined, or it might have like dashes right underneath it. So they're saying the following list of abbreviations, right? This is actually an example, right? So you see that there are some words that have a strike through, like have a strike through. Now part of those words that have a strike through, right, which is this line in the middle of the word, some of those words have like some dots underneath it. If I try to zoom, you see, at some point it might appear as if like those words are underlined in the question paper, but as you can see, those words actually have like some dotted lines underneath it. So what basically this means is that you may have text like in this question paper. You would see that there is some words like on top which also underline. So someone may assume that, okay, I replace this word with this one. No, you replace, you look into the words that are there, right? Usually in the question paper there are words at the bottom and at the top. Look for the words that have some dotted lines underneath, not within it, like the strike through, but underneath it. That is the word that you retain. If this word at the top here had some dotted lines underneath it, and this word at the bottom did not have lines, so you would replace this word with this one. So you would look for what? Look for words that have some dash or lines underneath it. That's the word you need to retain. Right? In this case, since this word at the bottom is the one that has these dashes, so we are to retain this word. Now again, if this word at the top had some dotted lines underneath it, right? So we'll replace this word at the bottom with this one. I think that's actually clear. All right, let's go back here, and now in this case, which word will you type? The word that we'll type is contamination in humans. So type humans. Why humans? Because it is the word that has these dotted lines underneath it. So this is the word that we're supposed to what? We're supposed to return. Humans. Okay, let's go back here. Can result. I think it was something like result. Result in. Let's check. Result in. So we're told to again to insert bullet and indent. So yeah, let's try and insert those bullets again. So after result in, so I press enter like one and then two, and then I insert the bullets as per the instruction. So I click on the bullet and then I'm just gonna decrease the indent here. Just that there is no specific like measurement for us to indent, but now the best way to know how to indent is to check. In this case, they would have shown like the kind of like how you would indent it, just like any other question. But in this case, they did not show us, so I'm just gonna just indent them to to I mean, I'll just align them to the left, right? I think is the best thing to do, right? So here we also have like yeah, so we have something like flow like illness, flow like okay, this should not be a capital letter, but anyway, I'm just gonna follow whatever that is there. Illness, and then a comma, and then we have something like infection of I think of the blood. Now there's that word. It means that you need to make that word one, right? So as you can see, bloodstream. If you go back here, let me look. I don't know if I have it. As you can see, indented. So as you can see, it should be like combined into one word, right? So yeah, so bloodstream, and then another one, infection of the brain. Infection, although it makes sense to start a sentence with like capital letters of the brain. And then I think then one. Now as you can see, a presenter again. I press backspace, it deletes it, and then I can have my two line spacing here, right? So there's a new line manuscript sign, and then there's something. I think there's something like which can be fatal. Then there's a full stop there, if I'm not mistaken. And then yeah, I think that's it. Okay, let me check. Let me check again. Yeah, these some basic. This technically this video was just to show you how to actually apply these manuscript signs. So the only way for you to know these manuscript signs is to again is to practice, give yourself time, you know, to just take a question paper, start, and at some point it might be if you make a mistake, just go back and refer to check the meaning, right? But you get used to it until you all know them, all of them by your head, right? It will definitely help you. Now, before we we need to fix this. So candidate find listeriosis and change to capital letters and bold. So how do we do that? How do we find it? So we have a function here in Microsoft Word that could help us, because imagine if this was like, let's say 5 pages, you have to find that word and replace it. It to be time consuming, right? But unfortunately, we have a feature in Word that could help us to easily find the word and apply those instructions. So the word you're supposed to find is, so how do you do that? You can go to press Ctrl plus F on your keyboard, and then it will show something like this, and then you can actually search. So press Ctrl, press and hold Ctrl, press Control F, and then you have this navigator here. Then you can come down here and go to replace is what you're looking for. I think you can also find this feature. I'm not sure, but it should be here. And references, or but I know just for sake of time, but I know that function is there somewhere. Let me check actually. Anyway, so that we don't waste any time, so you just press Control plus F, and then come here, select that drop down, look for replace, and then which word are we supposed to replace? So we're supposed to replace the word code. Let's go to instruction. Listeriosis. Is it? Am I correct? Yeah, I think that's the word we're supposed to actually replace. Listeriosis. Make sure I want to make sure it's correct. Listeriosis. So we need to replace this word with what? With capital letters, right? So and capital letters and bold. So I can easily go here and just say go to format, and then paragraph. This might be a little bit complicating, right? You can as well just type it, and write here and type it, like make it uppercase and so forth. But I know there's a easier way for you to actually do that, right? So let me just go to font, and then I can select the font. Of course, I think I'll leave it as the normal font. I think I'm not sure it should be Korean as per. Let me just select it, in this case Korean. We're not told about the size, so I'm going to continue with 12, and then we are told to make it bold and italic. So I'm going to make it bold. I'm going to also make it italic. Let me see, italic and bold. Okay, let me check again. So make it all caps, right? As you can see, make it all caps, bold, and now bold italic is it. Then click OK, and then let's try and type the word, but this word should be the font, and then bold, italic, not small caps, all caps. And then yeah, I think we're done. Then let's say replace all done, and then we can cancel, and then we can go forth and check. As you can see, the word listeriosis has been found, and it's been made bold, italics, right? Yeah. And then okay, I don't know where this comes from, and I think let me check again. Okay, there's no S there. I don't know where this S comes from anyway. Yeah. And I don't think if I've missed anything at all here. Now once you're done, right, assuming that I'm done, eventually you'd have to save this. Take note, we initially save this document, right? So now once you're done, you also need to press Ctrl plus S to save it, or go to File and say Save, and then that question 4 will actually be updated. So there's no need for you to save the file again, like into your folder, and then because you initially created the file, now you're updating it. But let's say you just opened a new document, you did not save it initially, then that's where now in this case, once you're there, you need to save it, right, by creating it and then save it into a folder. But in this case, if you took this, you followed what I've done here correctly, then you just save it. There's no need for you to save it again. Yeah. And then I think that's it for these manuscript science and paragraphs. If it happens again, if you have any questions, please just leave them in the comment section below. Yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Yeah, thanks.